I labeled this one, this batch as Fall 2023 SharePoint class batch. You guys are going to be Fall 2023. Um, there will be other, especially my immediate last class, which is summer 2023. They probably will jump into the class to to learn more. They are always welcome to join. Um, all of my old class students can join. So which is good for all of you, kind of makes you more morally on that. Yeah. Um, and then if they have any question or if they have any project questions that they have, we're gonna bring it in the class. We'll work on this on their project as if we're working on a project. It's a hands-on practice. It's not gonna be theory. I will have resources I will share with you all. There are some reading materials for those of you who like to read. There are also videos that I will share through a private channel that I will set up for specific to this class. So all of my recording and also if there is any reference videos, I will add to that private channel. So you don't have to Google, you don't have to go through millions of Google searches. You will have all the resources necessary to go through it through the channels that I will set up. Um, the class will be recorded. Today is October 7, 2023. This is going to be our first class. We're going to set up an Office 365 developer environment, which is going to give us a full access to Office 365 cloud services. And then we will try to understand what is each services that Microsoft provides through their Office 365 cloud services, which they call it a software as a service, SaaS. Um, so if you don't have to scroll through it, but I can scroll. If I scroll it down through this, what are the things that we get by joining Office 365? Office 365 development environment. So we're gonna have a free development instant sandbox where you practice as if it is a fully complete environment that each company has for their Office 365 tenant. We're gonna have our own tenant. We will set up, and then it's not required. You don't have to purchase anything. I mean, owning a domain. For example, Google as a company has a domain called google.com. That google.com is an entry to their website. So if you wanted to own a domain, you have to purchase it, and then you can plug in that domain to your Office 365, which means all of your employee emails will follow the domain. So, for example, I work for a company called Chemtrek, and then the company has a domain called chemtrek.com. So my email, whatever email I have, is my email ID at chemtrek.com. Every single one of us has an email, probably from Yahoo or Gmail. If you are using a free Gmail, then your email is going to be your email ID at gmail.com. Gmail.com is what we call a domain owned by Google. Um, so in similar way, each company has a private email for their employee, which follows the company domain. Okay, company domain. So as you can see here, all the way down here, high level, this is what I'm talking about. So you can have your own domain, but what Microsoft is going to give us is own Microsoft.com domain. So we're going to have our own tenant name. Keep in mind, just think about a company of your own. I might gonna name it Tigari, for example, my first name, my first initial, that my last name. Kind of my Gary is my last name. I can say Tigari Inc. is a company, a fictitious company that doesn't exist. And then this Office 365 will give us a renewable. E5 subscription. E5 subscription is what Microsoft sells to Fortune 500 type of organization. It costs us about pretty much close to $60 per license per month per user. Okay. If a company has 100 users and matu sarratenya binoro, or if a company has 100 employee and each employee gonna have an email, basically that means, oh, Samira, you can't see my, okay. I'm gonna go stop sharing and I'll reshare it again, okay? But so as I said, Office 365 gonna give us a renewable E5 license. Each license cost is about $60 per month per user. So what it means, if a company has 1,000 users, if a company has 1,000 users, how much this company is paying for Microsoft? It's gonna be about 6,000, 60,000 per month to for Microsoft to have this. Okay, it is basically it is really cheap when you see where this came from. So we used to have everything on premise, which requires hardware, software, and human resources to set up all this thing on premise. So what Microsoft did was, not only Microsoft and all other cloud services, they provide a software as a service functionality, and they give it per user based license. So this cost is about $60 per month per user. For developers, Microsoft want to have too many developers so that those developers can assist all the companies who purchases this product from Microsoft. Kind of makes sense, right? It's a win-win. Developers learn for free, and then at the same time, we assist companies to use this Office 365. We make their life much easier when they use this service. Um, and it is going to cost them, like, really a big amount of money. But for us, Microsoft will give us a free 25 user license. You can imagine how much that is, right? So we're gonna have 25 employee in our company. So when I create Office 365 development environment, I will have a fictitious or um, an existing 25 users um, that I can assume as if they're my employee. Okay, so it's gonna look like 100% the work environment that I'm using in my work environment, even if it is my development or a free learning um, playground. So, and then it will give us all of the Office 365 apps, everything that you need for a Power Platform, which is the second module that we're gonna go through. And it has all enterprise mobility and security, all Azure Active Directory, which is one of the services in Office 365. It will give us advanced analytics and Power BI and more. There are a lot of other services that we have access to when we have this license. This license is kind of one of the high standard Microsoft Office 365 license type. Um, Below E5 is something called E3. This cost is about $40 per user per month, but with minimal features. So the price differs by the feature. So like high-end type of cars, it cost is more expensive than lower class cars because it has more features in it. That is how the software is going to be sold by Microsoft, but we're gonna get it for free. That's why we're gonna have, if we scroll it down, once we set it up, all of our users, which is 25 users, they're gonna have email, they're gonna have Microsoft Teams, we're gonna have one or more SharePoint sites, which is the ultimate place where we practice using the different development techniques that we will be using. So there are a lot of terminologies and keywords that you never heard about, which is gonna be introduced throughout the whole entire class. Let's get it started. So I'm going to go scroll all the way up. I think every one of you have opened this website. Okay, anybody who who don't have this? Samira, Samira, I think you're the last one who joined the class. Did you? Oh, okay, okay. So have you, Blaine? Blaine, hi Blaine. That's not my old class, Blaine, right? Hello, Blaine. Okay, Samira, did you have Office 365 before? Share, did you set up a SharePoint environment before? Okay, so probably you have purchased it. Okay, so that's different. So okay, when we purchase laptops from Best Buy or anywhere, they will provide or they will include the cost of 1 year subscription so that you can use Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and etc. That is a user-based license, and it might okay. That one that you already have. Okay, that is why it is allowing you to log into to the Office 365, but that's fine. So did you click join? We didn't click join, so you already clicked join. That's the reason why, right? Yes. When you open this website, did you click on join now? Okay, you did. Ma- Okay, so okay. No, 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 don't click anything. So what happens is already click sa tarik join now, click hadir ka siya lunch. Okay, so you're learning power apps or somewhere. Okay, so this is gonna be we're gonna learn the power apps, but that's gonna be the second module in our class. So I'm assuming everyone in this class don't have Office 365. I think one student um, is taking the class somewhere, and if you already has it, for example, if you already have, you're not you don't have to go through this step because you're already learning Power Apps, which is like one probably like 1/5 of what we'll be covering across the entire class here. ስለዚህ እሱ ላይ እየተማርሽ ስለሆነ ወደ እሱ ነው መወስድሽ because you already have one. Okay. Um, I'm not sure how they got you there without going through this. Probably they jumped some steps, but that's fine. Anchi, if you want, you can reach out to me after the class or we will discuss about it. But the rest of you, when you click on the link, you got to this page, right? Anyone who is not on this page. Okay. Who are you? I'm sorry. Mimi. Oh, so I'm gonna go send you the link again. Did you click on it? Okay. Okay, you clicked join. I didn't say click join actually. Yeah. Um, okay, so now all of us, like all of us who didn't click on join now, we can click on join now, which brings this page for me, for example. For majority of you, like if I use a different browser where I already logged in to Office 365, I'm gonna go bring that one like one of the okay. So I'm gonna just paste that one on here. As you can see here, this is a different browser. If I click on join now, what happens is I will see something like this. Because because what happens is, as you can see here on the top right, okay, on the top right here, it is showing that it let me log in as myself using the different email that I've been using in the last class. So if I go check that one, I'm gonna go close this one. This is showing some error. The sandbox is restored, something like that. And then if I go here, check this guy, I will see some kind of like, Tesfaye Gary, which is my full name, and then it has some email right here that I used for the June 2023 class or session. I'm probably gonna use that one, or I have another one that I usually use, but to make you go through, like when this happens, if it takes you to something like this, when you click on join, it might take you to this page. What you guys gonna do is you're gonna go sign out. So once you sign out, right, it'll ask you which account you wanted to sign out. This is my work account. This is my actual that the one that I used to class. That is what you should do. I'll guide you through to go through steps in case if we're not gonna have the same experience that I'm having right now in here. So this browser, it looks like a kind of brand new. I never been in Office 365. You will get this one. So here we go. So at this moment, what we're gonna do is you are allowed to use your your Gmail account or your Yahoo account, or if you have Outlook or Live, any email, basically any email other than the development email that you're using at work, okay, for your learning purpose. So if you have a development account, you can't use that email, which is the same email that I have earlier, for example. Okay, the one that says admin at spjune something. I'm gonna use here my Yahoo, my Gmail. I'm just gonna fake it. This is my spam enabled kind of email that I use when I do this, or if you're using your Gmail. If you didn't never used it, what is gonna happen is it will ask you to create one. So it's gonna use your Gmail, and then it will let you create an Office 365 email using your Gmail, which is what they call um, a trusted authentication. So it will let you log into Microsoft using your Gmail. But when I go next, as you can see here, it will ask this, send this email like a code to my Gmail. So if I go to my Gmail account, as you can see here, it says it sent already a code to my Gmail. I'm gonna go to that Gmail on a different screen, and then yes, did I receive any code? Not yet. Send the code. There we go. And I received the code. That's the code. And then I'm gonna go sign in. Since I already used this Gmail to set up Office 365, as you can see here, what happens is it is saying that this email, which is a Gmail that I'm using, is used previously to create Office 365 development environment, which is showing 82 days to expire. And it has a renewable E5, and that's my tenant and things like that. So I can't use this one. So I have to open another one. Give me a second because this email doesn't gonna go along. So I'm gonna go create a new email, and then I will go through the whole process. We're using the new email. Okay, that's the one. እንደገና ልድገምላችሁ። ለእናንተ የምታደርጉት ምንድን ነው? ኢሜይላችሁን ታስገባላችሁ and then you go next. Okay, so እንደኔ የቅድሙ ቦታ ላይ አይወስዳችሁም. Okay, what's going to happen is it will take you to the next step so that you can fill the rest of other emails. Can we use the one we already created? Oh, TG, you already created Office 365? Hi, TG. Ah, so if you already created Office 365 developer environment, yep, you don't need to create or another Office 365. This step is for those of you who never had Office 365 developer environment. If you never had Office 365 development environment, yes, this is for you. So we're gonna create another one. I'm gonna assume I don't have account. Okay, here on this screen. Okay, on this screen, there is here that says no account, create one. Or if you can't access, you already have an account before, but you forgot it, you can do that. But now I'm gonna assume you never had Office 365 account. So I'm gonna go put create an account, and then I'm gonna just put it SP June SP Fall 2023. Um, that's gonna be my account. I'm gonna name it. Get a new email. Okay, I'm gonna go get a new email. So it's gonna be SPFA Fall 2023. That's gonna be my email that I'm gonna be using to create Office 365. So I'm gonna use this spfall 2023 at outlook.com or hotmail.com. This is the two emails that Microsoft gives for free. So I'm gonna use this one, and I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna create a password. Is gonna be the password is not gonna be. I'm not gonna tell you my password. That's United States date of birth. I'm gonna fake it, okay, so that you don't know my date of birth, which is April the 4th. Um, I'm gonna make it like that. That's the fake birthday. Um, so this is asking me to like, I'm just creating a new email account. Um, if you're following along, that's gonna be probably you're gonna go through the same steps. So I'm gonna rotate this so that it kind of makes the same. All right, that's my simple verification. So that's gonna be my email. So as you can see here, so I created a new email called spfall 2023 at outlook.com. So you can use your own Gmail, you can use your Yahoo email, but since I already used my emails previously, there is no email left for me to use it. So what I did was I created a new email specifically so that I can set up my Office 365 development environment. Of course, this email works. This is really a legit email from Microsoft. I own it. And since I didn't fill the rest of the other information, for example, when I set up my email, this SP4 2023, I didn't give them my first name, my last name. So here it says first name, FNU, last name, LNU. First name is FNU, first name unknown, last name unknown kind of thing. እንደዛ አድርጎ ነው እዚህ ጋር ያስቀመጠው, but that's fine. I'll change it later on, but for now, FNU use that's fine. That's my email. Okay, that's my email, and then it is asking me some of the questions so that I can join Office 365 developer program. Okay, so once you go through that or using your email, Gmail or Yahoo or whatever email account you have, it's gonna take you to this stage. ስንቶቻችሁ እዚህ ፔጅ ላይ መጥታችኋል? How many of you are on this page? It might not say first name FNU, last name LNU, but it will say this, and then this is the first form that we will be filling. We should be going through when we set up our tenant. So we have to have a legitimate email account, and then once you go through it, and then this is the question that we should be answering. I'm gonna say I'm from United States. Let's just put an U. I'm gonna say United States. My company is I'm gonna just name Tigari Inc. That's gonna be my company name. So you can give whatever name you choose. Um, this doesn't have to be unique. So you can say whatever you like, but just assume you have a company, and then that company is gonna be whatever label that you choose. And then my language is English. I'm gonna go accept the terms and conditions. Also, I'll receive, it's okay for me to receive updates and tips from Microsoft on Office 365 developer program. And then you go next. And here, why are you creating this Office 365 is the question from Microsoft. So I have to answer this. This is going to be more for personal project. I'm not going to say for my customers. I'm not going to say for the applications that I built to sell. I'm going to just say it for personal projects. I'm going to go next and try to check box all of it. Um, this is what developers has to do. If I'm hiring someone as a SharePoint developer or Office 365 developer to my organization, that developer should know all of these things. Power Platform, I think that Samira is learning Power Platform. Part of Power Platform is Power Apps. um, Not only that is not good enough. Okay, so okay, good to have that skill, but also we need to understand what Microsoft Identity Platform is, Outlook add-ons, Office add-ons, Microsoft Teams, and anything that goes into Microsoft Teams as a developer. Graph, Microsoft Graph, we have a robust Graph API. They call it Microsoft Graph, an API that gets and reads and writes data to any of Office 365 cloud services, and sometimes beyond that to the Azure cloud service. And of course, last but not least is SharePoint framework, which we call it SPFX. So my class is broken down into three different modules. The first module is to understand the entirety of Office 365. What is in Office 365? What are people using as in the organization? Why do organization use Office 365? For what reason? And how people uses SharePoint, how people uses the different applications in Office 365. We try to learn what is there off the shelf, out of the box, and then we try to build something with out of the box functionalities. We will dig dive, try to understand what it is, try to break it, learn it. That is how we learn. And then the next module is we're gonna pick a tool. That's gonna be our developers tool, um, which is Power Platform. Power Platform has um, four different major components: Power Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, Power Virtual Agents, which is the AI piece. So out of these four, we mainly focus on Power Apps and Power Automate because our data source is SharePoint. So we store data, we get data. Majority of our in majority of our class, we focuses on SharePoint as a data source. Um, that's what we learn, but also there is another area where we store data when we use Power Platform, which we call it Dataverse, and also other data sources like SQL Server database, the Azure SQL Server, or any on-premise data source can be used through connections. But we're not probably going to go deep dive to that technology because it requires too much network configurations. Um, but what I want you to do here is check box all of this. I kind of talked high level what they are, even if it doesn't make sense at this moment for all of you, but check them all. Okay. ሁሉንም የሆነ ጊዜ ላይ you will have a full picture of what each bullet point is once we finish the class. But at this moment, just check them all. Okay, I'm going to just save it. All right, so here we go. So it's going to give me the 90 days renewable Office 365 E5 license. So most of the time, what I usually do is I say go ahead and set up Instant Sandbox, which doesn't let me choose my own domain. As you can see here, it says domain name. It says my tenant dot or Microsoft.com, but my tenant is going to be generated automatically for me. So if I go with this bullet point that says Instant Sandbox, it will create everything for me, all the 25. I think it's not going to create 25 users. It's going to create about 16 fictitious users. And then it will create all their emails, all their teams. I don't have to worry. It will create one SharePoint site for me, but also it provisions 25 users. And then it will give me 90 days from today. So once you get a 90 days from today, which is 3 months, Microsoft checks how you utilized it, that development environment, and then they will renew automatically for the next 90 days. If you're not going to use it in a in the way that they expect you to use, they will cancel your renewal. That means you have to pay for it. Okay, but that's not gonna happen because we're gonna use it heavily in our class. So we're gonna keep it, and this development environment is gonna stay with you throughout throughout the entire. So I'm gonna go that if I go through the configurable sandbox, that will give you the steps that let you create your own tenant name that is unique. At the same time, it will let you provision the number of users manually, the users that you want, and the mailboxes and the Office 365 teams, SharePoint, and etc. For this kind of simplicity, uh, 16 fictitious ብዬ ነበረ ቅድም. Yeah, that's 16 fictitious users. For simplicity, I'm gonna go with the first one, okay? You guys go to the same. Kuku, I see new names after we start class, okay? Hi, Wayne. Yep, those are new names. Here we go. I'm gonna go to the instant and then go next, right? Here we go. So I just click the instant and then I click the next, right? So this is gonna be the super user, or like the admin of your entire organization. So this user is going to be the one that we use to provision the rest of other um, users or services in Office 365. Hey user admin no የሚባለው እና እዚህ ጋር what is the username, what is the password. This is not this is excluding the 16 fictitious users that Microsoft is going to be provisioning for us automatically. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go create, yeah, here it says United States, Canada, CA, California, but that's the one that is right now. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to go just name admin, ADMIN. The password is going to be your strong password. As you can see here, the strong password policy is it has to have a special character, number, capital letter, small letter. I think 12 characters, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So I'm gonna pick those combination myself. So whatever you pick, write it down. Okay, because this is not gonna be the password that lets you log into your bank account or your I don't know, a social security account or your retirement. So this is going to be for development. This is going to be for our playground. If it is okay, don't forget it, but I want you use the password that you can remember in the future. So I'm going to use my combination here. Look at that. It has to be 15 characters. They increased it to 15. That is crazy. Okay. It could- now, now worked. Here we go. I've I've used my long password, whatever that password is. All right, I think all right. And then, um, so all the way down here, it says it's going to use 16 fictitious users, right? So it's going to create 16 fictitious users. What is the username and password of those 16 fictitious users? What if I wanted to access this Office 365 using one of the 16 fictitious users? What is their password? What is their login ID? So what's going to happen is it is going to use the same password that you provided in here to is going to be assigned to all of the fictitious users account. So all of the users, 16 users, will be using this password, but all of them will have their own login ID. So the login ID of the admin is I just picked admin so that it's simple for me to remember. You know what I mean? So it's going to be admin, there's that, and then at, and then it will have my tenant domain as I explained it earlier before I begin. So here I just put that password, strong password, and I'm gonna go continue. Don't click on check boxes. If you clicked on this, that means your fictitious user is gonna use a new password and you have to provide the two text boxes below here. But I'm gonna skip this checkbox and then I'm gonna continue. This is where it is trying to verify like my tenant with my phone number. Sometimes if you already had a previously owned Office 365, it probably might say no. So I'm gonna go try to use my existing 571.205 205 5738, and then it is gonna send the code. I already used it with this account. That means I can't use it. Um, I can't use, but for all of you, since you never had, it will say the following account is associated with this email. I'm gonna go use another one. There we go. I got it. That phone is not next to me. You guys gonna give me 2 minutes. I have to go run upstairs and grab that phone and use that code right here. Okay? Thumbs up because I can't use the phone that I have with me right here. Okay? Um. All right. Give me a few seconds. I'm gonna pause the video. I put the code that I received through my phone and hula la. Um, Office 365 development environment is ready for me. As you can see here, I'm going to talk a little bit about this dashboard. This is a developer subscription dashboard. As you can see here, it says dashboard in top. This top area is um, I think that they had issue with the development environment sandbox and they kind of fixed it. This is an announcement, right? Is restored if you set up instance sandbox, you're getting error. Trying to sign in, please reset your admin password. Wait 10 minutes. Okay, so people had some issue. So I'm gonna cancel that one. So this is a dashboard. I still have issue with setting up of my teams, as you can see here. It didn't set up my teams. Um, Here it says 9 users, licenses, and 16 fictitious users. So 16 fictitious users and 9 user licenses, total of 25. So I have 25. The administrator is going to be this one in my case. As you can see here, it says admin at v3jwn. So like since I picked the automated way of creating Office 365, I didn't get the chance to use my own label. to name my tenant. So what happens here is it provided like a random domain, as you can see here. So it says v3jwn, and then in the top right here it says v3jwn dot on microsoft.com. So at this moment, I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to ask you, each one of you, like go to this. If you already had previously, like for those of you who already have Office 365, go to this page that I'm sending, which is a dashboard. Um, if you already have, if you already have Office 365, there is no way for you to log in as using that this Office 365 account. You have to log in to the account that you used to create Office 365, which is your Gmail, your Yahoo, or whatever email account you used. Um, and here, this account is gonna have admin privilege on entire Office 365 services. So as you can see here, it says go to subscription. We can go to subscription, but what happens here is this is a domain, this is the email. So my question for you is, I'm gonna start with Mimi. Mimi, what is your domain? What is your domain name? Only like the thing that is in front of, like, in the prefix of that on Microsoft.com. What did you get? Mm, you're not on this page. Okay, so okay, can you click on the link that I sent on the chat? If you click on the link that I sent on chat, it will take you to this. But you don't see domain name here. You don't see 90 days. Because, and then how? If you're done, you have to stop right here. We're on this page. That's the last page. I'm gonna go refresh it one more time. My Microsoft Teams still has issue. As you can see here, it says Microsoft Teams, and then it has a warning right here. Sample data pack. All right, who else? Samira already had. Fifi, Office 365 subscription. So this is for the first timers, right? Your first time Office 365, you created Office 365. If you guys remember, I've used Office 365 admin user and admin password. So what it means is I'm gonna go start copying this one. This is the email that I have to keep throughout. So this is gonna be the user account that I will be using across the entire Office 365 starting from today. When I say go log into your Office 365, what it means, we're gonna be using this account to log into Office 365. So I'm gonna copy this one. I have to save it in some notepad, and then that's gonna be of my Office 365. And then I already have password earlier. I already have a password earlier, which I'm not gonna disclose it. But here, as you can see here, all that's 25 users were provisioned for me. The emails and events are already sample. Sample data for emails are already there, but Microsoft Teams has an issue. If I click on it, probably it's gonna tell me what is going on. This will take about 5 minutes. So they're working on it, so I don't have to. I can try one more time like that, but hopefully it will work at some point, but I'm not going to worry about it. When SharePoint site collection is created, I don't know what SharePoint site collection is at this moment. You don't have to know at this moment, just high level. What it means is Microsoft has provisioned one site collection for us. So I'm going to take you to Office 365 dashboard through this link. So when we click on this link, it will actually open a new tab, and then it will say office.com. So it will try to log me in, but here it is asking me my password. When it asks the password is not for my, previous email that I created. This is gonna be the password for this user, right? This is a super admin user. That password I already saved earlier. I have to use longer 15 character. So this is gonna be where we land on. So at this moment, we can bypass this screen for 14 days only. This is a multi-factor authentication. So MFA is really, really very important to secure all of the accounts that we own, so that people doesn't get into our account so easily unless otherwise they have our phone, a physical phone, in their hands. So this is making more secure, like another lock on top of another lock. So I already used my username and password, but this is where we enable MFA, multi-factor authentication. This can be done through an app or a text phone number. So I'm going to use an app at this moment. If you're using Android, you can use Android app, which I will show it to you how you can go get it. If you use an iPhone, I personally use iPhone, so I'm going to go use my iPhone app. So I'm not going to bypass because it will pop up. This will always pop up and I know you. So I know we can pass for 14 days, but I'm going to continue. If you want to pass it, you can just click ask me later, but don't bypass. Just follow the step with me. So I'm gonna go next, and then it will take me to this screen where Microsoft has to go through Microsoft Authenticator. So you need to get a Microsoft Authenticator. It is called the Microsoft Authenticator. Um, I have I have it already on my phone. But what you guys gonna do is go to your App Store or Google Play Store and then go type search for uh, Microsoft Authenticator. So if you search for Microsoft Authenticator, you will see similar type of icon, but make sure the icon that you see looks like this, okay? ሌሎቹ ሊሸውዱ ምናምን ስለሚሞክሩ whatever app you trying to, like, if you search for Microsoft Authenticator, it will bring too much of like apps, right? For example, when I search for Microsoft Authenticator, the one that I'm looking for is on the second screen instead of, like, it's just on the second list. It's not on the first. It says Microsoft Authenticator. The first one that showed up is Authenticator app and the password, which is not the right one. The second one says Microsoft Authenticator. It looks like this. So I'm gonna go next. So since I already have it, okay. So since I already have that, I can bypass this. By the way, if you go click on download now, it will take you to this screen. So for Android people, try to scan this. For iPhone people, try to scan this. This will automatically take you to the App Store in the case of iPhone, and this will take you to the Google Play. It will download. You're just gonna go get it and then install it on your phone. Okay, all good. All right. So when I click that one, it actually opened a new tab. So I can close this tab and then it will take me back here. So I'm gonna go next because I already downloaded. So make sure you download it. Okay. And then go next. Once you go next, and then you have the app on your phone, which is the Authenticator app on your phone. And then the Authenticator app on my phone, let me try to, can I share? Let me try to share my phone. I think I can share my phone. Give me a second. Add this device. I don't know what is going on here. I'm gonna try to share my phone. Hmm. All right, I can see now. Share, share screen, start. Okay. um, there we go. Can you guys see my phone? Yes. Yes, yep. Okay. So this is my phone. As you can see here, I have a lot of authenticator apps because I log into my work, I log into another work, and I log into my school account, another work. I don't know, bunch of them, right? Um, so when you get it, yours is gonna show nothing in here. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go click plus sign here, and then I'm gonna go on my computer. Earlier I have set up account. I click on next. What happens is that next brings a new QR code. So here, here it says personal account, work account, or other Google or Facebook. So what I'm gonna tab on is work school account. I'm gonna go tab on work school account, and then I'm gonna click on it says sign in, scan QR code, or cancel. I'm gonna go scan QR code, and then I'm not gonna scan anything. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go share my screen, what it looks like. I'm gonna go share my screen. This is what my phone is showing me. I'm gonna take you to what this screen looks like. So can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen? Yes. So this has a QR code. So what I'm going to do in your case, you have a QR code. You already installed the app. You went through how I did. I have to click on the top plus sign. I use work or school account, and then it brings this QR code, and my phone is ready to scan it. I'm going to go scan it. So when I scan that code, and then and then next here it will pop up on my computer. Look at that, it says 14. I'm gonna go share my screen again on my phone, if that is gonna let me do it. I'm gonna go to that Teams, maybe. There we go. And I'm gonna go try to share screen, start broadcast. All right, there we go. So once I come to this, so what I got was this one. It is saying, are you trying to sign into MSFT Microsoft? You see that? Admin at 3W something something. And then it is asking me number. And then the my computer is showing the 14. And so I'm going to put that 14 here and say yes. So once I say yes, and then this is notification is says that it is approved. So I'm going to go next again, and then this is done. So I'm done on this computer and nothing is showing on my phone yet. And then I'm gonna go say yes now. So once I say yes, it will take me to office.com. So which is, I'm gonna take to my desktop from my phone. I'm gonna share the screen, and I'm gonna go take you to this desktop, okay? So that's it. I'm done with phone. I'm not gonna share my phone. Now you can see. So as you can see here, it went to office.com. So from now on, when I log in, I have to make sure that I have my phone with me. I have to remember my username and password, which is admin at 3v3jwn.microsoft.com, and with my password. And then I need to have my phone with me to log into my development Office 365 environment. So that's going to be the way I get into my Office 365, which we call it multi-factor authentication is enabled. It's well secured now. So here, this is my first time. It's just office.com. So when we go land on office.com, this user that I used to log in to this office.com is the admin user. So I'm gonna go, this is my first time that I came here trying to show me around. That's what this Microsoft Office 365 doing. I'm gonna go next, and finish that one. So here we go. This is the Office 365 office.com website, and it has pretty much everything that you need. This is where um, Microsoft puts based on your access all the apps, all the softwares that goes into your computer and things like that is in here. So once we are at work, for example, if I open office.com at work, all of my recent documents and anything that I've been working on as a, from document perspective or any record that I've been accessing recently, um, Microsoft has kind of some integration with AI, the very known ChatGPT AI stuff, and then it learns what you're doing and try to recommend you things that you've been working on in here. If I open my work environment, I will see a bunch of stuff on this dashboard. On the left, as you can see here, try to like guide you by just next by next. I'm not gonna work like click on next by next like that. So as you can see here, to manage, do that, do this, blah blah. So I'm gonna cancel this little pinkish or purplish screen. That one is gonna handle that one. So the user interface of majority, I can say all of Office 365 services looks like the same based on where you're at. We have the top area, what we call it Office 365 banner. We have like this guy, this area, we call it Office 365 banner. That banner has, at some point, at some places, it might have search. It may not have search, or it sometimes has search. Um, all the way to around here, it tells you that where you at. So we are on a Microsoft 365 homepage. This is Microsoft 365 homepage, and then all the way to the right here, it shows you like some of the tasks that you've been working on. If I have given a task, this is your personal task. You instead like sometimes people write their daily tasks on a paper and then they stick it on their refrigerator, right? Many people do that. I don't know how many of you do that, but similar to that, we can have our own tasks and then assign it to yourself, and then you put in due date. It will remind you when the due date is arrived, things like that, or if you are overdue on tasks, things like that. It is a nice way to organize your daily activities or tasks in one centralized location, which is pretty good. That's the tasks. And here we have a gear, which shows like setting. And then here we have a question mark that tells you resources about to learn about this specific website, which is at this moment we are office.com, Microsoft Office 365 website. So that question mark, if I go click on it, it will use you a cognitive service AI. You can ask questions or you can see links about how to do stuff. And then here says FL. It is the person who logged in. Actually, it's supposed to say Tasfai Gari. At this moment, it says FL because my first name is FLN and then my last name is, I don't know, LN something. Last name LNU. That's the reason why it picks the first character of the first name, the first character of the last name, and then it gives a kind of FL. I'm not bothered at this moment. That's my email. When you click on it, it will pop up this, and then you can set up your, upload your image, change that profile information. Um, all the way to the left, all the way to the left here, We have a waffle menu, and then in the left we have Office 365 suite bar. Here we have Office 365 suite bar kind of thing. It has home. It says create. And then it says my content with the folder icon. It says my feed, and then all of your apps. Because this account is admin, that account that we use to log into the system is an admin. It has an admin icon right here, and then all of the emails, because this user has an email. So we can go to our email and see our work email. So the email that was associated with this admin account. Microsoft Teams, specific to this user. And then any Microsoft Word, you have access to Office web app, which we call it Microsoft Office, Excel, PowerPoint, and etc. on the browser. Even if you don't have those softwares installed on your computer, you can have all of the functionality of Microsoft Offices on the browser. That is kind of cool feature. And all the way to the right here, there is install apps in many organizations. In one of the organizations that I handle as an admin, I do work as an admin. So the person who is going to configure all this step is Office 365 admin. Or your, job title has to be like, high level. You have to be super senior, you have to have those skills. What we're going through now is not the skill set that we need as a SharePoint developer or Office 365 or Power Platform, but you need to understand how things work together, right? Where is my email? Where if my username is, how do they activate my access? So if I leave the company, how do they deactivate my account so that I don't have access to the system? um, like, those kind of things are the people that has admin privilege has to do it. That is the work that we're trying to achieve so that we can set up our Office 365 development environment at this moment. So I'm going to go to this waffle menu. This is a waffle menu. When we go there, you will see some of the apps that is pinned in this label. Says Outlook, OneDrive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Notes, SharePoint, Teams, and then this is Microsoft Viva connection. It says they call it Engage, and then Admin. Each one of them can be like pinned or unpinned. If you don't like it, you can unpin it, because you can only display few things in here. For example, if I don't want this guy, you can unpin it. This is for personal preference. You can bring all of the apps that you need on this first click so that you can get to it. But there are other apps that you can go to. So if you go click on explore all of apps, it will open a new tab, and then it will list all of your apps and things that you have access to. So now I have like plenty of apps on the top, and then you can see also by category. Those are the apps. I don't still see Microsoft Power Platform. So I'm going to go all apps again, and then it would list all of this. So you can see here admin, booking, calendar, compliance, engage, Excel, Forms, which is Microsoft Forms, Viva Insight, learning, list, which is Microsoft SharePoint lists, OneDrive, OneNote, Outlook, people's in organization, planner, which is kind of task, project management, Power Apps and Power Automate and Power BI. The Power Platform that I mentioned about, excluding the Power Virtual Agent. We don't see it right here, but it is available. Project Security, SharePoint, Stream Seaway, Visio, To-Do List, Microsoft Teams, and Microsoft Word. Those are the apps that is available by Microsoft. There are other apps you can add on. You can get an add-on. Also, we will build apps. We are developers. We will build apps for an organization, and they will be available to be consumed by the organization. So when I clicked on it, it opens a new tab right here. But as you can see here, it totally looks like the same as what we saw before, as you can see here. But the only thing that happened is this is now selected. So all of the in the left there are way to navigate. So we are on the apps. I can go click on home. If I go back to apps, all of my apps is going to be right here. So you can go see again, see all. Um, and we'll go to the top right here, which is the setting. In the setting, there are things that you can change. In the theme, in the top one, like you see here, that is the gray one is what is selected. You can change the top theme, the top area of the theme if you don't like this gray. But I still prefer to do it in admin center. I don't want to do it here. We don't let people's change the theme based on their preference. This is an organization team, and the admins will set it up in central location, and then all of users' theme gonna look like the same, um, regardless of who that person is. If you want to change your password, you can change the password of this user. And this is like, everybody can go to Microsoft365.com apps or office.com and then navigate to the app section. The setting is shows like based on where you're at, what are the things that you can make changes to. Okay, so here it's not too much. You can change your language preference and your time zone, things like that. But um, and also you can change your password, your contact preferences thing. You can change if you don't like the whitish, you can make it a dark mode thing. Like this is a personal preference. If I change it for Testify, the other users won't get affected. This is a per user based setting. Okay, so whatever I pick, it's not going to get applied to some other users, because this guy is an admin. Whatever he's doing at this moment is the personal preference settings. Um, Here, when we go to the content, it will bring all of, like in the left content, it says all of the content that you have access to, anything that you have recently accessed, anything that is shared with you within the organization. Um, and also here we have create. When we create, you can create Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, forms, quizzes, notes, which is notebooks, page, which is Seaway, which is part of the SharePoint, any video drawing. You can create a recording, screen recording. All that can be happened on the browser right here, even if you don't have the softwares installed on your machine. Um, or again, this is just office.com or Microsoft 365.com. They're all the same. And then in the left here, or from the waffle menu, I want to go to admin. When I click on admin, it uses a single sign-on. This 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 login or this website, this admin website is totally different URL. So earlier we were on office.com or we were on Microsoft Office 635.com. So that is what is the landing page of Microsoft Office 365. Now I clicked on admin and then it took me here, and then the top header is black. I don't see the search. We used to see search right here, right? Missing. Search is missing, compared to, like, what we saw previously. Oh, the search is back. It was taking longer to load. But in here, what you see is Microsoft 365 Admin Center. It says admin.microsoft.com. And here, the waffle menu. And then here's the search. Here I have kind of console, which we call it Cloud Shell. Some admins like to work on a command, using command instead of this nice UI. If you have any notifications, like you are setting up something and you prefer to get notified, those activities once it is completed, things like that, or somebody mentioned your name on the chat, it will send you a notification. This is where you can see all of your notifications. This gear is the setting. Again, this is personal. As you can see here, the top theme is darker. If I click on this one, for example, turn is blue, like, you can just change it. This is, again, this is personal. Um, if I change it this way, it's going to be changing for this specific user. If other user has access to this admin, Microsoft Admin Center, it may not show the selection that I made right here. So if we wanted to set this for an organization, we have to do it through a different way. So you can do the same thing that was there before, language setting and time zone. um, if you are in California, your time zone has to be in Pacific. If you are in the East Coast, like me, then your time zone is going to be East Coast standard. And here you can change your password, things like that. Again, here, how may I help you? You can write anything. Install Office. You can see here, install Office on Mac. How do I do this? How do I do that? Things like that. How to disable user, how to change their password, user password, how to disable their multi-factor authentication, for example. Um, so like you or many users may forget their password, and if they don't have, if the organization doesn't have um, self-service, which lets the user change their own password if they forgot. Like if you forget your Gmail password, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna call Google, right? You will have access to, like, you will have a place where you sign into Google Gmail. There is forget password link there for you to go through some wizard to guide you recover your lost password. Probably it will generate a new one, or it will create based on some questions. It has to verify you and then do that crap, right? So that is what we call self-service. But most of the time, at work, those self-service may not be available. So if we forgot our password or I can't log into my computer, things like that, what are we gonna do? We call the support or help desk. So each company has IT, and then in that IT, they have a help desk or support that lists like my computer is not doing this, or I lost this, or I do that. Um, the help desk peoples go into where the users are located, and then they can override with the new password, and they will let you change it when you log into your computer. So they will give you, this is a temporary password, log into your system, and then or log into the website. When you log in, it will ask you to set a new password, because the password that is sent by that help desk, the help desk guy also knows your password. So that's the reason why we pick the user change their password once they log in, so that the help desk guy doesn't know your password. That's your privacy. Those kind of things is going to be happening right here. We HR person, we got a new hire for customer service, for example. When a new people hired to an organization, they have to go through onboarding process. One of the onboarding processes, the user needs, like this new employee needs to have an email, he needs to have a computer, all that informal like stuff, and then his account has to be provisioned, right? His account has to be added into the organization, things like that. So that all can be happening in Microsoft Office 365 Admin Center. So here in the Microsoft Office 365 Admin Center, there are a lot of things that we go through. In the top, it has the same thing that was there before. If you go to the waffle menu, you have access to the same um, apps that is pinned, or you can go to all different apps. But this is Microsoft Office 365 Admin Center. You come here as an admin. Not every user has access to this one. Um, if you work in an organization as a SharePoint developer, I don't think you are gonna have access to this anytime soon. Okay, but it's good to know, because you need to request some services for those people who manage this one, because whatever we do depends on what security setting or what configuration they made in the admin center. It might affect us, and then we have to understand what they did, and if we need to ask them to change it, we need to understand what needs to be changed, things like that. So here, I'm going to go through here. That is the home page. When you are on the home page and scroll it down, there are things that you see here. We have, like, 0 of 17 licensed user has installed apps. It says here, for example, I have 17 user. How come we got 17 user? Because Microsoft created 16 fictitious users, and then Testify has added one admin user, the total of 17 users. all of the 17 users didn't install any software. Okay. When we call software, it includes Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Teams, all that. Okay, Excel, all that apps. Okay. Um, Here we have billing. We don't have any balance. We're not going to pay any payment. We're not going to associate all that. That's going to be showing zero all the time. User management. You can add user. You can edit an existing user. You can reset users, people's password for all of the 17 users. You can go ahead and change their password if you wanted to. You can edit their names and stuff. For example, I'm gonna go ahead and change my name in a few seconds. Here, that is a homepage. The homepage has this pretty dashboard. This dashboard is editable. You can add cards. Those are kind of dashboard. Anything that you usually do, it's good to have it on this dashboard. But most of the time nobody does that, but here I'm gonna go here, and the next is users. When you click on users, you see active users, contacts, guests, deleted users. I'm gonna go to the active users, and it will give me all of the 17 users. As you can see here, and the Adele Vance, Alex Wibner, those are kind of fictitious users. FNU LNU is this guy. I can see here FNU LNU, that is the person who logged in to the system, right? Because that is the email I used to log in. You guys remember? Yes? ይሄኛው አንድ ሰራተኛ ነው ማለት ነው። አድሚን ራሱ አንድ ሰራተኛ ነው። እያንዳንዱ ሰው, those are employee of the organization. There are 17 total. So here I selected FNULNU, for instance. When I selected this specific user, you can do his multi-factor authentication resetting. I can disable, I can enable, I can do, like, for example, I lost my phone. My multi-factor authentication cannot receive anything from like this system because I lost my phone. And then during that time, the admin guy can change that or can remove that device from MFA. Okay. Um, we can reset the password. We can manage the license. So as you can see here, all of the users got Microsoft 365 developer license. So we will see it all the way down in the billing section, but all of the users has this developer password. All of the user has, as you can see here, the same company domain. Okay. Adele V, Adele Vance, it says Adele V at that. Admin at the same. Diego S at that. Alex W at that. So as you can see here, all of the user has the same kind of pattern in their email. Their email always follows their first name, last initial at domain. Okay, and then that is all about. So if I wanted to change, let's say, oh, Mr. X Adil changed her last name because of the marriage, right? It always happens. For example, I'm gonna go change my first name or last name. So what we usually do is we're just gonna click on it. It'll open this panel all the way to the right. You can add, change their photo. That is their emails, and that is alias. We can have multiple emails that point to the same email address, which we call it alias. Um, you can see when and where this user logged in the last 30 days. ትራቭል ስታደርጉ አንዳንድ ሰው ከኢትዮጵያ ሄዶ ሲሰራ የማይታይ ከመሰለው ውሸት ነው። Okay? So if you're traveling and you're not explaining where you travel to your employer, they will see where you are accessing their system from. Okay? በቀላሉ ይታያል እላችሁ ነው። Okay? Um, sign out, you can sign out, and you can kill all this user session. Okay. Alternate email address, you can add alternate email address. I'm going to talk about groups and stuffs later on. There are groups all the way right here. um, we add users into a group because so that we associate resources to a group instead of individual user. Okay. If you are a customer service you're going to be in a group of customer service, so that all of the customer service is going to be treated as customer service users. Instead of individually assigning resources to individual users, you assign resources to a group. When I say resource and group, I'm talking about security, permissioning, and things like that. So the easiest way to manage resources like files, anything, databases, record, or software, um, name it, anything ID related. The way we assign permission is not individual based. We assign it through groups because it makes it easier. So that's what this groups is talking about. Roles are, what type of roles do you have? Do you have admin privilege? Do you have this? Do you have access to manage, control this software? There are different roles in Office 365 and Azure cloud services. That is where. All the way down here is what I actually wanted to change, right? My phone number is already there, the previous one. And then here, manage contact information. I'm going to go click on manage contact information. I'm going to change my first name to Tasfai, and then my last name to Gary, and my display name is going to be Tasfai Gary. My job title is Senior SharePoint. I'm going to developer, architect. Okay? I'm going to say department is, I'm going to say information technology. My office is 405, 403. I'm just naming the thing that doesn't exist. You can change all that. You can change the region, all that, and save changes, right? So now this guy has a new name called Tasfaigari, and it has some of the additional information added to his profile. But still, here it shows FNU, LNU, the same email, the same. But sometimes it will take a little bit of time um, to reflect it in the system, because like this is admin office.com, admin.microsoft.com, and then on this site is Microsoft 365.com. This one is office.com. They're all different sites, and then they all get their information for the same user from the same central location. Actually, this is not the central location. This information, this user interface is kind of pretty easy to see individual users, and then change their password, delete them, deactivate them. Like, because this guy left the company, you can go ahead, because she left the company. I can block her so that she doesn't get into accessing any system in the organization. So what we do is we block her. That's the first thing that you do. But you don't delete her, because her email has to be reviewed. Anything that she worked on has to be transferred to somebody else. But that is how they do it. But if she changes her name, now where to change it. That's the contact information. Um, so it will take some time to populate, but if you disable, it will that instant. When you block, that's instant. That user won't have access. If you change the password, that is an instant. But if you change the name and you expect to see it right away, it's not gonna happen. Um, Contacts. Um, so, there are like parent companies, child companies, and affiliates, and things like that. And if they wanted um, those organizations to work together, and you wanted to share information, um, each company employee has the same type of email. If I have the same email domain as Wube, that tells very easily that we both work for the same organization. So if Wube 9A አንድ አይነት ዶሜን ኔም ካለው ኢሜይላችን ውስጥ አንድ አይነት ካምፓኒ ነው ማለት ነው የምንሰራው። በቀላሉ እንደዛ መናገር ትችላላችሁ። The location probably be different, but the same company. So that means even if Wube is located somewhere, she has access to some of the resources that I have access to, because she's an employee of that organization. Um, but if we have a different organization that needs to have access to some of the resources in my organization, we can add it as a guest user or as a contact. Okay, so that contact or guest user won't have email address similar to like v3 blah blah, right? So that is what this guest or guest user or contact means. Whenever users is deleted, it is a kind of recycle bin. It doesn't get deleted automatically because you might delete users by accident, and you can recover it back from the deleted users. By now, it's empty because I never deleted a user. But whenever user is deleted, it goes to there. Teams and groups. As I said earlier, Microsoft already created teams. What happens is because it creates those users, each user has departments, and then each department is going to be like a group. So as you can see here, sales and marketing. Here, US sales, retail. Um, so some of the project teams. Each one of them is created as a team or a group, and there are peoples in that group. So I'm gonna go just click on very easily to the one of the groups that says US sales. If I click on US sales, it will open this panel, pretty much similar to what it looks like before, but it has pretty much different properties. You can see here, the group has email. I'm not sure how many of you applied for a jobs through email. Majority of the time, the email that you sent to starts with maybe career at companydomain.com, or it might say HR at blah blah. So if it says HR or career or support or something like that, it means that that email doesn't belong to individual. It belongs to a group. That means there are multiple good peoples who has access to that email. So when we send email to support at tmobile.com, for example, it's not going to reach to somebody's email, one person's email. It goes to multiple peoples in that group because support, they created this group and then they added peoples into that group. So I can see here the membership who is in this group. I can see the members, Adil, Alex, Diego, Grady. Those all are the, the members in the US sales group. Does that make sense? So what it means is if I send the email to u.s.sales874 at the same domain, um, it will get into the emails of all of those people because they belong to this group. Okay? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? የሆነ ችግር ካጋጠማችሁ ወደዚህ ላኩ የሚል ኢሜይል ምናምን አይመጣላችሁ? Maybe it's like some when you have issues with the bank or with your phone, Verizon, I don't know, like name it. So that is a group. That is a something we call it specifically with sometimes they say security group or distribution group or like it. That is super technical. But what it means is there are too many peoples in that group. So the email that you sent, let's say Adil left the company, it doesn't matter. You don't contact Adil directly be as a salesperson. If you're looking for a salesperson for this organization, you just reach out to the sales at blah blah. It gets to those all peoples, um, and then all of those people has access to that email. So Adele left, still Alex is going to work on your request. You know what I mean? So that kind of is how the company benefited from using groups instead of individual peoples. Okay, so they don't rely on individual users. And then Adele in Mitakaso Sumeta, when somebody replaces Adele, that person will be added to this group. That is how things work within the organization in the real world. That's why Microsoft created us those groups. Of course, you can add groups, you can delete, you can edit. So everything as an admin, you can add, you can edit, you can delete. So you can do all creating, updating, and deleting, or adding a new thing in it. So as an admin, that is what we do, right? So here we have add. When I click on it, I can edit, modify any information related to these groups, even to the users. I changed my name from whatever name it was, not only my name, any user's name in the organization. There are some policies that we set for an organization. Um, So for example, like, when you guys joined the meeting, right? When you join the meeting, this is a policy. You can turn off or mute, or anytime you join the meeting, they can enforce by default to make your video turn on the moment you join the meeting. That is kind of the policy that enforced through the center, through the central policy setting. They set different policies for different technologies and things like that. Some of the policies are paper-based. Some of the policies are something that we can enforce through technology. For example, um, your password must be 15 characters. They might tell you that at the same time, the system can enforce for peoples if they're using less than 15 characters and to say no. Nope, you have to use 15 characters, you have to use capital letters, you have to use this, you have to do that. That can be enforced through the technology. Um, لمثالي, don't take the picture of the document from your computer. كتب in the policy. I'm just don't take the picture of your document from a screen. As a policy, if I put it as a policy, that there is no way I can enforce unless otherwise leave your phone outside of the organization, right? There is no um, other technique to enforce that so that you don't take a picture of your screen. Does that make sense? There are things that we cannot enforce, and then it has to be on the people's behavior, and then people has to be educated. Some policies can be enforced through technology. Some policies cannot be enforced through technology. As an instance, like the one that I mentioned, don't take this document. That means you're not allowed to take it, save it into the flash drive and save it. You're not allowed to send it to your Gmail. Don't take it katabala. There are things that allows we can monitor, do it through technology. But what if you take your phone out of your pocket and snap the picture of that document from your computer? You took it, right? Yes or no? You can take it that way, right? Yes, yes or no? Yes. But if they say don't take it, that is behavioral. So if you break that rule, the the consequence will happen. But this kind of policies cannot be enforced through technology. But majority of the things can be enforced. Ziga, some of the policies are there. I'm just showing you what it is. If a group is deleted, it will go through this. There is something called, oh, there is already deleted groups. How does that happen? Retail, when is it deleted? I just created today. You're not kidding me. This is I just created deleted on 9/7/27. Microsoft is lying. Oh, restore deadline is 10/27. 9/27 was a month. It was like last month, but we never had it. Forget about it. Um, forget about it. I was curious about shared mailboxes. Shared mailboxes are also similar to groups. Um, Shared mailboxes are we never had a group where we collaborate in the long time in the all the technologies. We used to have shared mailboxes. We have a lot of shared mailboxes because we have different department and we came from old technology. We moved to Office 365 right now. But what is shared mailboxes? For example, if you wanted to reach out to our customer service, you have to use some email. The email is customer service at myorganization.com. If you wanted to reach out to sales, says US sales, UK sales, there are different locations, and then you can reach out to individual sales peoples through that, because that is how it was set it up, and it was a mailbox, shared mailbox, and when email goes to that mailbox, every users who has access to that mailbox will get the email. That is what is the shared mailbox used to be. So now we have email enabled groups. That is a similar kind of does similar functionality as shared mailbox. Billing, as I said, I'm gonna go to the billing. I'm gonna start from the top. It says purchase the services. Even if we didn't purchase it, okay, we got Microsoft 365 E5 license purchase. Now, your products. When we go to my products, we have Microsoft 365 E5 developer license. We have 25 purchased quantity. We didn't purchase it; it's given to us, and then we have used 17 out of 25. That means we have 8 left to use it. You can give it to your friend. They can have all of Office 365, Excel, Word, ምናምን. You can create a user and then you can give them that user. They don't have to buy from my. So this is very, very useful. Um, Even for personal use, you can use it as long as you keep this license active. You have to practice, you have to develop things like that. You can purchase additional stuff. That is where you come in and purchase it. If you want to buy additional 365, Dynamics 365, which is totally different technology, but it works on in Dataverse, which we already have it. We don't have to purchase it. Um, there are things that is excluded from here which we don't have access to. Licenses, you can assign licenses or you can revoke licenses from user. We have 8 licenses left. um, Bills and payment, we are on due, like we have all that. So all this billing payment stuff is going to be handled by a billing administrator. The person who handles or administer the technology doesn't have to know how much this company is paying and who pays for it, the credit card associated with that, all that crap. So that is going to be as delegated to the billing admin. So you will give that role to a billing admin guy. They will manage that billing. I don't have to worry about how much they pay. Why do I care? I'm a technical guy. So that specific one is going to be handled by that one. There is show all the way down here. I like to kind of show all so that I can see everything. So I was in the billing, and all the way down here, there is support. If we at any time, if nothing is working and something failed, you can reach out to Microsoft through this help and support. So you can request, you can put it a ticket, and then Microsoft will call you, and then they will work with you to resolve your issue. Even if we have a free developer license, Microsoft will listen to you if there is any issue that is over our um, domain. Like, if there's something that we cannot solve, you can create a ticket, and then Microsoft will fix it for us. Okay. Um, um, all the way down here, we have setting. For example, like all of my emails earlier, all of the emails, active users here. The emails is like v3 vga v3jwn dot omicron. I don't want it. I want testify.com. My company is testify.com. Let's say I have a website called testify.com. I purchase a domain. So, okay, before I start, okay, testify.com, because I like testify.com doesn't mean I can have it. What if another testify already got that name already? So we go ahead and purchase domain. We can purchase domain on Google, google.com or GoDaddy.com, or I kind of like to purchase domain from Google, and then you can go ahead and purchase it. For example, I wanted testify.com. Most likely it is already taken, I know, and available, right? So I can't have testify.com, testify.org, but I can have testify.club, testify.live, testify.xyz, testify.work. Those are $20 per year. So I have to purchase it, I have to own it. Once you own this domain, right? And then you can bring it to Office 365, go to the setting section, go to the domain, and then that is the domain you have right now. And then what you're gonna do, you're gonna add your domain. Oh, I don't have a domain. You can buy it right here. So like people buys domain from different sites, but once you purchase a domain, and then you build your website, and then you will link your website to that domain, and then all of the emails is gonna follow whatever domain name that you choose, right? So if I have a domain called testify.com, my employee users, my employee or my users email gonna follow user1 at testify.com, user2 at testify.com, user3 at testify.com. እንደዚህ እያለ ይቀጥላል. That's how it goes. But right now, since we don't have any domain, we don't have to bother, but this is what they do. So they have to add additional domain. You have to verify that you own that domain, and then it will automatically get added. All of you users will have email directly linked to that domain, and then all you're gonna move it to this email. So here we have a lot of settings. One of the settings that I wanted to show you is organization setting. um, Earlier I talked about I wanted to change this theme. I wanted to change that logo, blah blah. So there are things that we can change in this. There are a lot of things in here, but what I wanted to change, of course, is organization profile. I went to the where is that setting, org setting, and then I went to this tab, organization profile. Here we go. We can set theme. You can set tiles and apps. You can set a default data location, keyword shortcuts, organization information, support integration. All that setting can be done here so that when they get, well, like when the customer is reaching out for help, if we integrated any support integration, it will give them all the necessary information about how to reach to the support, things like that. Email notification, how you send emails based on some activities um, automatically. So that those kind of things are can be configured right here. But what I wanted to do is I'm gonna go ahead and custom theme here. Um, as you can see here, Testify got this dark one. That is the default one, and I'm pretty sure you all got the same theme. But I'm gonna go ahead and create a new theme. That's like you can add logos, you can add colors and things like that. So you can come here. So here is the first thing, right? I wanted to set a theme for my organization. If you're setting a theme for your organization, you have to make sure that people don't override that theme for personal reason. So what are you gonna do is you're gonna go prevent user from overriding, show the user's display name. For example, I wanted their display name to be um, like long names, and then you're gonna go to the logo. You can apply the logo, so you can upload and then add it to this logo. It will add right here, but I don't have a logo at this moment, so I'm gonna go to the colors and then pick instead of this. I'm gonna go pick a dark. Uh, Let me go pick dark yellow, orangish. Do I have orange? I'm gonna go pick this one, darker, like that. And then that's good. And then I'm gonna save it. Okay, I'm gonna go to the color again one more time. Um, Accent color. Why did that? That's my accent color. Okay, I changes the accent color and then go back. The text color. The text is like any text is gonna go follow this FFF, which is white. That's fine. And then but when you hover on it, like you see that hover on it, that's accent color, which is this blue. When hover on it, I like it to go dark, like dark instead of blue. Like that's much better. You see that? I like that one, so I'm gonna go save it now. Dark is this, or you can just make it hashtag 0000, which is hexadecimal number for black, FFF hexadecimal number for white. I'm gonna just save it. Okay, I saved it. And then you prevent users to change it and the stuff like that. And then I'm gonna go reset or refresh my browser. My setting is going to show like this, right? Look at that. That's that. So you can see exactly what is going on. It's still my first name, my last name. You see that? I picked display full name here. You see that? That's gonna be what is going to be displayed based on my organization preference. That's the policy, one of the policy, like in the UI piece. So if a user, if Adele logs in, to office.com as Adele. To log in as an Adele, I'm gonna go use Adele, for example. This is Adele. Um, I think can I use it? Yep, I'm gonna log in as Adele. So I'm gonna copy that. Me use different browser. I'm gonna use different browser. Let me use. I'm gonna use different browser. I'm gonna go to office.com as Adele, and then I'm gonna sign in, and that's the email, right? Adele's email, and then the password is I think that's the password. And then Adele is gonna ask is Adele, set up your multi-factor authentication. I'm not gonna do it for Adele. I'm gonna say ask me later. I'm gonna log in as an Adele. So Adele logged in. Look at that, the top area for Adele. This is Adele once she logged into the system. Adele is just individual user in an organization. It's a fictitious user. Look at that. Hey, she has a picture on there. Her name displays like that. In the left, she doesn't have any admin because she's not an admin. It kind of makes sense, right? And she goes to this and she can't go to the admin center, but she has access to some of the organization resources here. She can install software on her computer. She can go to her email by clicking here. It will go to her email, ask me later. That's outlook.office.com, which is the email. And then her, she doesn't have any email. So she can send email to the admin, for example, if she goes like that, to is admin. The moment I start typing, that's the admin is Tasfayagari. So, yep, she is in the same organization with that Tasfayagari. Look at that, the title and all that information is the phone number for Tasfay is 425. No, that's wrong. Interesting. That's not. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that is the phone number associated with that. But anyways, um, that is she work with Tasfai in the same organization. That is how they communicate. They can work together. But this is all I can talk at this moment. But I'm gonna go close Adele's browser. This is just showing you what it is. But here, when I log in, I think I have to sign out and then sign in so that it picks my login information. Um, I think I'm gonna go expand this guy a little bit down here. That is in the setting. That is where we can change domains and the stuff, organization setting, search and intelligence. There are some settings that can be done in the search and the intelligence, integrating apps. If there is any partnership with other consulting companies, we can add those companies right here. If they have affiliate with or they have some partner with Microsoft, they might have some account that we can integrate in our systems. In the setup, we work through some of the things that here in the setup. What is that? Oh, in the setting, in the setup, you can do Viva connections, migrations, all that can be done right here. There are add-ons that we can get if we want it, and some policies like password expiration, all that can be done in here. Health report, um, report it talks about the usage, how many people are using and how they are using it, how many active users, things like that, which is like this is really wushat false. I never had 7 active users yet, but 35 activities. What is this? That's false report. Any report that goes to those technologies, Exchange, which is email, SharePoint, and Viva connections, all that. Um, all the way down here, health. If there is any issue with Office 365 services, you can see exactly right here. For example, Exchange has an issue. Microsoft reports is like that. And then if people reach out to us and if it is a known issue with Microsoft, we're gonna let them know instead of trying to troubleshoot and find out what is going on. OneDrive has an issue, Exchange has an issue, which means people might have issue with their emails and their OneDrive. Service health, message center, product. Those are like things that they monitor as an admin. All the way down, we have admin center. Admin center, this is the central admin center. A central admin center is like, you are admin to Office 365. Most of the time, an admin to Office 365 is an admin to all. I wanted this user to be a SharePoint administrator. So that in that case, we can assign a role to do that to a user. For example, like, here I got Alex, Alex Webner. He's a SharePoint administrator. What the SharePoint administrator gonna do is creating SharePoint sites, creating groups and teams and all that. In that case, like, the top admin guy cannot be an admin to all of the technologies. That's gonna be too much work. So we break it down to different admins based on their roles and skill sets. Let's say I wanted Alex to be a SharePoint admin guy and teams and stuff. So what are we gonna do is we're gonna go assign a role to him. So here it says roles, and then it doesn't have any role. It can go here, manage roles, and then in the manage roles, you can see here we have admin center access. No admin center access. You can go here. You can say, okay, this guy is going to be a SharePoint administrator. You're gonna grab that one and then save it. He's gonna be a SharePoint administrator. If I wanted him to be a user administrator is he can create a user, he can deactivate a user, he can change user's password. That is a user administrator. Many support help desk people do that. Okay? يعني ይሄንን label of access ነው የሚሰጣቸው. Okay? If you wanted a user to be like, support administrator, help desk administrator, you're gonna grant them. So you can see exactly what they do. It kind of gives you like, what they do. Like, this help desk administrator can reset password, you can re-authenticate non-admin tasks, some admin roles, and manage service requests, monitor help services, and things like that. So it has a little bit of description about what each role gonna do with this little icon there. Okay, so that's all. That's easy way to delegate some of the admin roles. But the global admin is like, when you go to the role, is when you go here, the global administrator. The global administrator is the person, the person who has. Okay, excuse me. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. All right. So, the global administrator is, for instance, in this case, Tesfaye. Where is my Tesfaye? This guy, Tesfaye. If you go a little bit down here and check the role, Tesfaye is what? Global administrator. ምን ማለት ነው? He is an admin of all of the stuff in the entire Office 365. If you grant a user a global admin ማለት ነው, he can do anything in the entire Office 365 cloud. That is what we got right now. And this is a super user guy. Okay. So all the way down here, we have different services: security, compliance, endpoint manager, identity, Exchange, SharePoint, and Teams. And not only that, if you go to all admin center, there are a bunch of them here. You can see that. So it goes Azure ATP, compliance, endpoint manager, Exchange, Microsoft Intra. Endpoint manager is actually like, this is kind of very interesting. I'm not sure if you know of company provides devices to users, including laptop and phone, cell phones, and I don't know, walkie-talkie, name it. There are different devices the company provides to users so that they can do their job. So when they register that device in the organization, they can wipe it out. Like somebody stole it, they can wipe it out remotely. They can deactivate things like that. So that can be happen using this technology. Okay. That's why we call it endpoint manager. A single management experience for end users, for employee, for all apps and the devices and all that crap in there. The Power Apps is Power Apps Administrator, the Power BI Administrator, Teams Administrator, SharePoint Administrator. Exchange is for the email. Where is my Exchange? Do we have? Okay, Exchange. This is for the email administrator. Okay, we call it Exchange server in Nabarduro. That's what we call Exchange. Is all things related to emails and setting. So SharePoint right here, that is the SharePoint administrator. So what I'm going to take you here is to the SharePoint administrator right here. So when you click on it, it will open a new tab and it will say, it'll bring this tour again, but that's what it is. But I closed that tour, and then on the top it says SharePoint Admin Center. As you can see here, even if I am on a different website, it says my tenant name. Like I kind of like you do a little bit into details when you click on stuff, right? Earlier when we set it up Office 365, we got a domain, and we never seen anything related to that domain in the URL until now. So if you go to all admin centers, it is admin.microsoft.com. So it just says admin.microsoft.com. Forget about anything that is after this. It's not important. You see that? Admin.microsoft.com. I just grabbed anything, really remove it, press enter. Admin.microsoft.com takes you to the admin center of Office 365. Earlier, we were on a page that is office.com. So as long as you're in office.com, you are on the homepage of office.com. Microsoft Office.com or the Office.com, they are all the same. Microsoft Office, Microsoft 365.com or Office.com, they're both the same. Um, and then admin.microsoft.com, that's the admin center. And then here, it is going to be your tenant name, whatever that tenant name is, and then it says dash admin dash sharepoint.com. So now we have that unique domain name that we created. So for example, I have my company, the company that I work for. I'm gonna bring it. It's called that tenant name is. I'm gonna bring that link. That's fine. Even if it is my, you guys are my first, it's okay. I'm not gonna record it, but I'm gonna pause the record. I paused earlier when my little one showed up here, the video recording. I think it was when I was on this page, I guess, right? And then I was talking about different admin center. I wanted every single thing that I talk to be recorded. I'm sorry, earlier I disabled the recording. No, it was when I showed my officers my SharePoint from my work, I guess. Yeah, we're good. We're good. So this site search is different from the search. This one searches everything. It searches people, it searches everything. This one is searches all of the SharePoint sites in the search active sites. You see that little one? It says search active sites. It means that searching in this active sites. Um, so we're gonna go through this in a little bit, but we missed that search. That's fine. In the active sites, as I said earlier, it created one or more SharePoint sites. Yes, it did. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 10 different sites. If I bring my actual work active sites, we probably have like hundreds, probably 200 sites. So each site has different functionality. It's a place where people collaborate. So SharePoint, SharePoint in the old times we used to have different um, structure for SharePoint. We call it site collection. So site collection is some sort of a container where you can assume it as like a big building, and then in that big building you have different offices inside of each building, right? So each office is going to be, we call it a subsite. Site collection, assume like we have a big building. And then in each building, we have different offices. We can have like, different offices, big, small, doesn't matter. And each office has its own security, lock and the stuff, door, right? But you enter this big building, this big building, I'm gonna go give a lobby right here. This big building has this door. Everyone has to share this door, right? To get into their office. Yes? Yes? My drawing sucks. I know. If we have a big building and each office in the building has like is rented by a different organization, this guy to get into this office, he has to come through this door. If this is the only door, right, we have, right? Yes or no? Yes. Simple until ko yara. No, ada. The metan in the no no mo gusto. So what it means is each one of this shares some stuff from the big building, and then they have their own room, and each office might have different setup. So assume this big building is a site collection or a site. And then in all time, we have each one of them is a subsite. So to get into a site, each subsite, you have to come through this. So this building has a lot of stuff, like all of this walls from the outer section is something that is shared across all of the other offices in this building. So they share some stuff from the big building, and each office has their own stuff. They might have even security. Maybe a security guy might be sitting right here to check who's getting into this office and coming out of this office, because they might have like some confidential stuff they do inside here, right? Yes. እንደዚህ አይነት ሊኖር ይችላል አይደል in reality. So the same thing is true. So when we create a site collection, each one of this site collection, we created it, and then each site collection has its own security, its own content inside of it. It might have like multiple content. One building might have like 10 offices in it, and then this building might have just አዳራሽ ነው እንደዚህ ክፍት open building. This has partitioned to multiple sections. So if you go into this building, for example, this B2, I'm going to name it, this is B1. B1 has different sections, B2 has just open. So once you get in, you have access to everything. Building can be like this. So SharePoint site, you can assume it like this. Once you get in, you could have multiple sections in it, or it might be open to everything. So site collection is kind of assumed as a container where we store information. Okay. So this is the first thing we do need to have a SharePoint, like I work on a SharePoint. Then where is your site? Is the first question I have to ask. What is your site? Each site has a unique URL. This URL is unique. That means unique URL, unique address. So each building has a unique address. The address that takes you to B1 doesn't take you to B2, unless otherwise B2 lives inside of B1. They have unique address. So this URL tells unique address to each site collection. And then each section within the building has unique addresses. This might be Office 1, or Office 2, Office 3, on the third floor, on the second floor. That is how they set it. The same address, and then they say office number this, unit number X, unit number Y. So each content in here also has unique address in it that differentiates from the other unit. So when you go here, there is a column that shows teams, which I will talk about later on, that associated with the teams. channels that is associated with the teams. Again, we're going to talk about it. Each one of them is a container where we store information. Information, when we store it, we measure the spaces that the data or information takes by byte or kilobytes, megabytes, or gigabytes. So this tells storage that is used by this site in gigabytes, which is zero. And then here, who is the primary administrator of this site? So we have this digital initiative public relations site, this site. So each one of them is created based on templates. And each template that we see in here, we have two types of templates. One is communication site template or a team site template. And then you can tell exactly like which one is using Teams. Those are using Teams, and this one is using communication. When was last activity? Nothing. When was it created? I don't know why it says 9:23. This doesn't look like true. 9 a.m. I just created today, so it has to be today. Um, Created by that. All everything is global administrator, and then everything is created by the system for us. So some of the data that shows in here kind of doesn't make any sense to me. How many files and does it shareable externally, things like that. Says on. We're gonna talk about it later on in depth. What are those different attributes when we talk about SharePoint site? SharePoint site at this moment, what you need to understand is it's a kind of website where people or users store and retrieve information from. And I'm gonna work on this site. This site is called like a communication site, and then it is this is the entry. That's the address, and then the address for this one is this, but it has like the dot 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 in the front, dot 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 in the front. So each one of them shares the same root tenant address. So this one is I can see here says HTTPS my tenant name, which is v3wjn wn dot sharepoint.com. Each one of you have the same or similar kind of thing. It has that sharepoint.com, but you will see your tenant name. That's my tenant name. So I'm gonna go click on it. So it's gonna open a new website, and that is a communication site. The label or the site name says communication site. That is communication site. On the top, I have some navigations. I have something stuff here. I have some content. It might look good. It might not look good. You may like it. You may hate it, but that's what SharePoint is. This is a SharePoint site where we collaborate. Let's go ahead and take 2 p.m. Did we start 11 a.m.? This is how the class is gonna proceed. We're not gonna have like a 3 hour continuous discussions or like working sessions. We will have like 1.5 hour, like half of the session, and then we'll take 10 to 15 minutes break, and then we will continue that way. But I think with what we achieved today, it kind of looks good. I don't mind to stop the today's class right here. Um, but I'm gonna go summarize what we have covered today. Okay. The major part of today's session is setting up of Office 365 development environment. So this is my development environment. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to use it. So what I'm going to do even here is I'm going to save those URLs that I'm going to be working on for our next session. So I will start putting in my profile, like favorite kind of thing. So this is my admin center. I'm gonna favorite. Since I'm using a guest access in my browser, I can't, but that is what I'm gonna do. I will save this. That is, I don't have to go through the entire process anymore. We will start right here. This is our SharePoint site. Or we're gonna start from the admin center of the SharePoint so that we can create some sites and work on it. So we provisioned or we created our development environment. That is Office 365 development environment. And then At this moment, we don't need any other tool except our browsers, our computer and our internet and our browser. So as long as you remember your login ID, in my case, that is my login ID. My login ID is admin at this, and then I have my phone with me for MFA. And then as long as I have this and I have my password, I have everything I need to proceed with my class. So all you need is your login ID and then your password. Store that information safely. Don't forget it, and then make sure you have your phone and Office 365 already set it up. That's when you get this admin account that we created. That's all you need for today. I have your information. I think I have captured all of you. I'm not sure if your name is not listed here and you wanted to take this class with me. Please don't hesitate to send your full name, email, and of course, I will have your phone number if you text to this phone number, 571 205 5738. If you are not in the United States, you can use WhatsApp with the same phone number or Telegram with the same phone number. What I'm going to do is I will create a group where I do share information in Telegram. It's going to be a private group. Make sure you participate on that group. I'll create that group. I'll add all of you to that group. I mean, not all of you who are taking this course with me. Today's class is open. From now on, it's not going to be open. It will be open to those of you who's going to reach out to me or those of you who already have, I have your emails. So you're going to send your information to this phone number. I can see Wayne New. Um, Seifu, if you wanna continue, you're free to join. Radiate, Damte, Rahua. I think I have your name already. Mefti, Mani, I already have Kuku. If you wanna go continue, Hiwot Wubne. I think I have your name already right here. Gani Fifi, already have you. Bezawit. I don't have your email phone number. If you want to continue, make sure to reach out to me through this phone number. You're just gonna text me, and I will have, and then you will have all the resources. I will create. There are some reading materials, and my videos will be shared private. It's not gonna be publicly available. I'll have some public available content that I do open source kind of thing, or I go demo stuff for people who need help, things like that. But my class is going to be private because I also share a private work environment where I do. Like, it's not, I'm not going to share their data, but I don't hesitate to show you what it really looks like in the work environment. So we're gonna create our own SharePoint site, Office 365, all that, and then you will compare with what we have in the real world. It looks like 100% the same. You will have that experience, and then after we go through all that steps, and then at the end of the 3 months, we will set up, like, I will set up a session to do your next career goals, and then how to prepare a very nice resume. I know Seifu and, like, all of my previous students who landed on the job, they have some hiccups on their road before they land on the job, and I'm pretty sure they will guide you. Any mistakes that they've done that that takes them like a little bit backward before they landed on the job, things like that, they will guide you They will answer all of our questions. Um, ከኔ ብቻ ሳይሆን ማለቴ ነው. We learn from each other, and then I will be available for them too, like when they need any help. That is the goal, and I hope we'll reach what you wanted to achieve at the end of this class. And I'm open to take any question before we have to end today's class right here. All right. If you don't have any question, I hope I will see you all Wednesday, 6 p.m. Those of you who is gonna reach out to me through this phone number and you gotta send me your email, you will receive all of the information that is necessary to our success goals and our next class before the next class, which is happening Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, with that, I'm gonna stop today's recording right here.